bodily fluid fans, do I have the film for you? Saltburn, released in 2023, has taken the internet by storm. Starring Jacob Elordi and Barry Keoghan, the film takes place in 2006, where this guy, Oliver, is taken under the wing of Felix, who he now may not be gay for, after Felix learns of Oliver's terrible upbringing. Emerald Fennell describes the film as a vampire film, and as you'll see, I agree. But first, a drink. Perfect. Let's begin, shall we? The film opens with Oliver having a cig and a monologue intercut with clips of Felix. The first character interaction Oliver has is Farley's offhand comment about his little jacket. Me, personally, I would not let that slide. But it immediately sets the pace for the relationship in the film between the two characters in one simple little moment. Oliver is a manipulative arsehole. Bro literally kisses up to his professor like, I don't to box you. Like an absolute loser. I am convinced this guy has never told the truth in his life. Literally the only normal person in the film, aside from Farley, is Michael fucking asked me or something. Gavey. Surprisingly. It's what I love most about the film. Everyone is fucking weird. The trailer made it seem like everyone was weird and Oliver was the normal one and he had to escape the weird family, akin to Ready or Not. But it broke any anticipation that I had. Oliver and Felix meet for the first time and Felix is having a crisis over his bike and Oliver saves the day. They then happen to meet at the pub where Oliver ditches Michael for Felix and Oliver then gets forced to buy a round of bevs for the table, but oh no, can't afford it. But then Felix comes over and saves the day. Then after that there's a solid 5 to 10 minutes of them being friends while also dropping lore about Farley and Oliver lore dumping about himself.
Was it awful?
Look at. I swear the whole time I was reminded of like Tumblr fan edits. It's a love letter to Tumblr, this film. It's beautiful. I love it so much. Michael then calls him out for being a bootlicker and then he dips from the film.
Oliver, quick.
Fucking shit. Drama alert. Keemstar. They have a fight because Oliver's being fucking weird about the state of Felix's room and then as soon as they're apart, Oliver tries to get it on with Felix's girl, but he tits it up. And then his dad conveniently dies as Oliver starts venting. Felix gives Oliver a rock to throw in the river as it's a tradition within the Catton family and invites him to Saltburn. Lovely gesture, ruined by the fact that Oliver threw the rock into sick. We see Oliver entering Saltburn the first time and is greeted by Duncan. Duncan is the first sight we see that something is a bit iffy with the place. He's stylistically incredibly gothic. Think Bram Stoker's Dracula. Saltburn is stylistically impeccable. To summarise it based on interviews Emerald gave, she was always playing with the gothic style and light. The idea that stuck with me the most is about how she styled Felix and the house. The house is told through Felix's eyes, so it ignores the sheer beauty of the place. He ruins it with silly things like King's spunk and accidentally fingering his cousin, because we all do that. It's also just the subtlety of it. The production designer chose a flypaper to hang on a big fuck-off chandelier and the fact that in some places there's just tat. Emerald said they chose this location because of the silly hats on the busts. It's just excellently done.
Goes to Granny. Hi, Granny.
The film at this point becomes more awkward, if at all possible. After Felix's tour of the house, he lets Oliver have a few moments to settle in, and then Oliver immediately has to walk into a room of meeting the Catton family for the first time. And they're bitching whilst Richard E. Grant howls at Superbad. Most of the film you'll now realise is simultaneously the hottest fucking thing for little freaks and also the most harrowingly awkward thing on the planet. Just trust me. The scene then transitions to a monologue of them all having a wonderful summer, reading Harry Potter, bearing it all, and even Farley and Oliver can get over their differences. Take a shot before the next bit, guys. It's bathtub time! Oliver's infatuation is hinted at from the very opening line, but this is when it really comes to a head. Oliver hears noises from the bathroom and he decides to creep on Felix having a wank. Felix finishes the bath and himself off, and Oliver walks in and decides to climb into the bath and drink up Felix's cummy bath water like a dehydrated dog. I think this is a good segue to talk about Felix. Felix was written to trick the audience and characters in the film that he is like a god. And such a nice guy, but in each scene he's doing something slightly dickish or gross. Jacob fucking Elordi is just that fit and charismatic that he can turn this lad into a god. Oliver wins them over incredibly easily by telling and showing them what they want, but especially Elspeth. Bryce spends a good amount of time chatting to her to the point where it could be viewed as he's tried to get on with her. Well, he sure gets along with everyone. Well, apart from Farley, and he just hates the guy. Which, I mean, fair enough. Oliver's weird. And then the same night, more weird shit happens. Venetia, after seducing Oliver in practically every shot she's in, shows up behind his window in a nightgown. He uses what he knows about her from Elspeth to use her infatuation against her. He then eats her out while she's on a period, proclaiming, "I'm a vampire." He also rubs period blood on her. Honestly, that's the worst part of this scene. He gets rough with her, and at this point I'd say this is the moment he has full control over a character for the first time. I can't show the scene, obviously, but I infer this isn't what Emerald meant when she said vampire film. The next scene really details Emerald's vision for the film in the form of a passing scene which sets up the events later on in the film with the party and the dinner. You can see the rose tint over Felix as well to slip away here, but Oliver is able to pull it back up with his little words twisting the situation. The next bit of the film is more delicious awkwardness. It takes place during a dinner party and Farley plays an epic prank on Oliver, calling him out for who he is in front of everyone via karaoke.
You insist?
Farley is literally the only person who sees Oliver for who he is, and he decides to tell everyone. He grew up around that world and the perceived world Oliver is in. Ollie gets so angry he takes it out on a mirror. I'm not going to discuss much about this next scene due to the fact that in it Oliver sexually assaults Farley. Farley is then removed from the house with little discussion in detail. It's all kept exceedingly hush-hush. Despite the kids discussing it, they shut up as Elspeth and Sir James enter the scene. The next scene is probably the most awkward out of the entire film. Felix takes Oliver out on a surprise road trip for his birthday to his parents' house. Then we as an audience find out that he's a liar.
Your father's in the garden.
His father.
A father? What? So, you know how we dropped the rock in sick? That was bloody foreshadowing and a half. Turns out Mr. Quick's been a liar the whole bloody time. Felix is undoubtedly pissed the fuck off and he rips into Ollie so much that he has a little shop and gets ready for the party and his final night at Saltburn. Or is it? After Ollie's disastrous happy birthday, where absolutely no one knows his name, he follows Felix through the maze and whines at him. At that point, he's insanely drunk, and he gives Felix the bottle he drank as he throws up, leaving him saying, "I don't care what you think anymore." Oliver is monologuing over chaos the next morning, and it's interrupted with a scream and a subtle change in the pace of the chaos, with the music becoming more and more dramatic. Then it's discovered Felix is dead in the fucking maze! The whole family, including Duncan, is falling apart. They attempt to act normal, but it's tearing them all apart. Venetia is absent-minded. Duncan is struggling. And his parents are struggling to keep it together. Farley kicks off at Oliver, and Oliver alludes that Farley is involved due to his cocaine habits from the night before. He gets him out of the way, permanently flipping the switch on the argument they had on the party. The whole family is grieving, and they all go to complete the tradition, but they leave Oliver alone as he wasn't a part of the family, despite what he thinks. He thinks he's wormed his way in, but no, he hasn't. Oliver, alone, goes to Felix's freshly dug grave and proceeds to, simple terms, make love to it whilst orchestral music plays. You could read this as the love he never said in life or pure regret. The music quietens and he gets fully naked and he just lets it all go into the grave, with nothing but the sound of his whimpers and the rain. The scene cuts with dramatic silence to a short scene where the family and Oliver are dealing with the funeral and the ritual. This may be short, but it alludes to Elspeth needing Oliver, as she does in later life. Venetia laughs at Oliver in the previous scene. Any power he had over her is gone. She chooses to bathe and get drunk in Felix's tub, knowing Oliver would be there. Venetia ends her life after the final interaction, Oliver tempting her with razor blades on the side of the tub. After the second funeral, Sir James calls Oliver over to the study and pays him to leave. He takes it, despite his final attempt at worming his way in by playing on Sir James's love of his wife. He leaves and then the timeline changes to 2022. Elspeth accidentally meets him at a cafe. Whilst there, she discloses the loss of Sir James. which Oliver has already learned of. He alludes to the way that he lives near Elspeth on purpose to get at her again. He takes advantage of Elspeth's nature once again, and his power still has a hold of her all these years later. Then it shows that the fucker was monologuing to Elspeth. He then rips out a breathing tube after revealing he set up literally everything that happened in the film. Madness. I really like the comment Emerald made was, you can see everything and nothing behind his eyes when describing how Barry acted the character. It's the most poignant quote that stuck with me when doing research for this video essay. And now, the bit everyone's been waiting for. Murder on the bloody dance floor. Oliver dances around the house in pure bliss, in the exact reverse of Felix's tour from earlier in the film, ending up at the Cat and Players puppets. He placed the rocks atop, then he played them all as the puppet master. The film as a whole is baroque and camp, just as Emerald intended. All in all, just a little bit insane. Hats off to Emerald Fennell and the entire production team. This film is fantastic. So, thank you all for watching this video. If you liked it, be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.